Alrighty, hey everyone, welcome back. Happy, what's today? Today's Wednesday. Oh my gosh, time is flying by. I was actually debating whether or not to do a stream tonight. I got a tetanus shot yesterday. I'm kind of feeling under the weather a little bit. That's expected to with those types of things here, but also there's not much news going on as far as the miners are concerned. Bitcoin rallied today a little bit. Miners rallied pretty nicely as well today. Iren was up huge. So was Cipher at one point as well. Still did pretty good there. We do have a new story on Cipher. We have a questionable story on Cleanspark. We'll take a look at Iren as far as what could they announce tomorrow with their earnings happening here tomorrow. The stock obviously did very good today. We'll take a look at that. We'll get into Q&A, and that's basically it here. So it should be pretty short and sweet. But as always, we got to go through this as well. Not financial advice for team only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously here. Let's take a look at what happened with Bitcoin today. We talked about it quite extensively yesterday here. But Bitcoin, I'm kind of thinking that maybe we bottomed out yesterday, right? I talked about it yesterday's stream based on just what we were seeing on the weekly, monthly time frames on it, where it bounced off at those points as well, along with the BTC CME futures, right? Where did that bounce off at? And it seems like we maybe will know in a couple of weeks if that was the case here. If we reach that new all-time high here in the next couple of weeks, I think we may call this the bottom here that we had yesterday in Bitcoin. We'll see. Bitcoin did pretty good today, though. It was up quite nicely here. It was up 2.37%. We're down a little bit here on the new day, but we closed at 103,869 there today. We're down a little bit on the new day. We're down 0.13%. A little bit of a correction. Not really a correction, I would say. A little profit taking there happening maybe. And we'll see how it goes into tomorrow. Markets overall today were also in the green. Dow Jones, NASDAQ, S&P, and the Russell 2000 were in the green there. Ethereum also had a nice day today. It was up 4.19%, closed at 3,423 there. It closed above the 200 simple day moving average there. Bitcoin obviously still has a little ways to go for that. We had definitely a sizable drop here, so that one's got to catch back up there. Miners, on the other hand, had a really good day also. Bitfarms was up 5.73%. BitDeer was up 3.47%. Kang was up 2.9%. Cipher was up 9.7%. 7% after being up at like almost 12%, I think, at one point. They were actually doing better than Iren was in the beginning of the day, and then things kind of flipped on us between Cipher and Iren there. Cleanspark was up 2.22%. CORZ was up 0.28%. Hive was up 3.04%. Hive was actually down today for some reason, 2.31%. And Iren had a great day, being up 14.68%, getting to $76.41. That is a new high, I believe, for that one. It got a little higher there, right? It got to 76.87, so pretty close to it, but that's a new high on that one, so that's great to see. Mara was up a little bit as well, 3.07%. Riot was down 1.58%. Wolf was up a little bit, 2.33% there. Bitcoin holding companies here did okay today. Some better than others, but MicroStrategy was up 3.24% there. Galaxy was up just 1.07%. Block was up 1.47%. Coin was up 3.9%. Metaplanet was down 1.81%. Exodus was up 0.48%, and then Nexon was down 1.46%. Samler had a great day today. It was up 20%. I wonder if it was earnings. Our earnings are tomorrow for them. What happened here? Class action litigation filed by okay, investors who, but all right, not much happening there. That's old news anyways. Phoenix was up 7.65%. Game was up 0.14%. Small miners today had a pretty good day also for the most part. Annie was down 6.44%. That one continues to bleed out here. Argo was up 8.66%, getting a little bounce here after having a pretty massive bleed out as well. DigiPower was down 2.82% there. I think just a little correction happening on this one. This one has had a nice run up here recently. DMG was up 2.15%. Mawson, for some reason, was up 19% today. Let's see if there's any news on this one happening here today. 17 hours ago, Mawson Infrastructure Group, Inc. announces this dismissal of involuntary bankruptcy petition. Okay, so that's, I guess, why it went up, maybe. So that was good news for them. Canon was up also 16.22%. That one did good also. Let's see here. This was from yesterday. Canon raises $72 million from top investors, including Braven Howard and Galaxy Digital there. So that's good news for them. And then the Bitcoin miner ETFs here had a good day also. BitQ was up 4.15%. BKCH was up 4.6%. DAP was up 3.71%. WGMI was up 6.4%. Ethereum holding companies had a pretty good day also. BMNR was up 4.97%. BitDigital was up 3.14%. BTCS was up 6.15%. Game was up 3.06%. And SBET was up 3.85%. Other companies that we track here, American Bitcoin was up 3.23%. FIG was down 3.93. Wi-Fi was up 0.62%. Open was up 4.48%. Oracle was up 0.86. Nibius was up 5.84. Soluna was up today 13.53%, and Backed was up 10.57% there. And Fermi was down actually 0.64% there, so not too bad overall. Miners here in the after hours right now, let's take a look at those, see where we are. BitDeer is up 0.77% on the pre-hours there. Bitfarms is up a little bit, almost half a percentage point there. Cipher is up another 2.35%, so a pretty good start there. Cleanspark is up 2.05%. CORZ is up 0.41%. Hive is up 1.97. Hut 8 is up 2.28. Iren, this might take a little while for this thing to upload here, update. We'll refresh it. We'll skip that part of it maybe. Maybe, if it actually loads. There it goes. Okay, so it's up to $2.39. It got to like $80 here in the after hours here. Let me see if we can load this chart up here. Let's see if it shows it to us as well. Yeah, so you can see here, right about there, it got to, it doesn't show it here. But I thought at one point I saw it getting to $80 there. I think, not sure if we can zoom in. I don't think I can zoom in on that one. But I saw that at least. Mar here is up a little bit, 0.7%. Riot is up a little bit as well, 0.16%. And TeraWolf is actually down 1.04% there. Bitcoin for the month of November is still down 5.44%. We need a little bit better price action happening on this one here going forward. As long as we have bottomed out here yesterday, we may end up seeing a pretty good month here overall. Bitcoin ETF inflows here. Why do I have that ad? There we go. Okay, November 5th. Let's see here. November 5th today. So we had inflows, 238 million in inflows. Yesterday we had 0 BlackRock reporting for some reason, but we still had negative 566 million inflows in that. And then the only thing that I really do have for you guys here is just a couple of stories that we do have here. I thought this was kind of interesting here. This is from Matthew Schultz, CEO of Cleanspark there. Writes, killing time with some friends there, right? You see obviously a lot of team members from Cleanspark. You got Gary V. You got others as well in here. And looks like they're at NVIDIA. So that's kind of interesting. It's like, what are they doing at NVIDIA? Are they looking to buy some NVIDIA GPUs for their own data centers? Possibly, right? We don't know. It's a little coy there. It's a little mysterious. We don't know what's going on. But still, we're getting a little bit of clues as far as which direction the company might be going forward, possibly. And we can only speculate going forward here what that could mean for us, right? I think if they do start up getting GPUs and putting them in their own data centers, that's going to be good news, I think, going forward for us. So if you're a holder of Cleanspark, be patient in there. I think they're obviously trying to do all the right things here and move forward into HPCI as well. Better, I guess you could say better late than never, right? So that's great to see. And then we got Cipher here. Cipher announces pricing of 1.4 billion of senior secured notes. We talked about that a little bit. I think it was yesterday that they came out with that as well. But these are obviously going to be happening here, so this is great news for them. They got a great deal with Amazon. Now it's just a matter of getting obviously the financing and then building out the data centers as quickly as they can, right? And even I believe, oh gosh, what's the CEO's name there? Oh, I'm drawing a blank on the CEO name right now. You guys know who I'm talking about there, Tyler Page. He even posted on X that right now that they got a great deal, the only thing that's kind of standing in their way is obviously getting financing, which I believe they have now in place, and the build out, right? The build out is obviously going to be the important part to get that all built out in time and start generating revenue from the deal there as well. All right, so that's good news for them. And then lastly, obviously tomorrow we do have Iren releasing their quarterly results here for their Q1 fiscal year 2026 results, which is obviously our Q3 there. That's happening tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So they will release financial results for the 3 months after the close of the bell here. That works out well for them because they're obviously in Australia, so there's quite a bit of time difference. So it's morning for them, night for us here. So that's why they do it at this time. And we'll see we'll see what we get from them. A lot of speculation is that they are going to have maybe NVIDIA be a investor in Iren, potentially. We'll see if that is the plan there, or if they announce another deal with somebody else, or they announce more GPUs being purchased for their own data centers that they're building out. Those would be all great things here as far as where they could possibly be at. And if we look at Iren here as far as where they are right now, Right, as of today, they reached also a 20 billion market cap, knocking on the door of 21 billion here really quickly as well, and they could definitely go up much higher here. Right now, their estimated annual run rate for them for next year is going to be about 3.3 billion. That's if they get everything built out in time and get it all energized and operating there for Microsoft as well. But it's still only 200 megawatts out of their additional 2 gigawatts that they have available going forward into 2026 and 2027 as well. And if they somehow are able to capitalize on those additional megawatts, the 2,000 there, the stock is going to be probably going up much, much higher from where we are right now. Based on just what we have right now for the HPC AI revenue run rate of 2.5 billion plus current Bitcoin run rate of about 875 million roughly annually here, we have them at somewhere between $124 and $186. Again, this is only with 200 megawatts being used up for Microsoft there. Doesn't account for any of the additional 2 gigawatts they have available. So that's basically 10x from where we could be right now. On top of it here, I won't maybe not 10x completely, right? Because 200 load also includes other megawatts that are going to be for ancillary services, pumps, cooling, things like that. So let's just say it's going to be an additional 1.3 to 1.5 gigawatts that they could possibly multiply that at. So you're still looking at about 7x from here potentially if they get to build that out in the next couple of years, right? Ideally, it'd be great if they could build it out within the next 2 to 3 years. And then you can see obviously where that revenue could definitely increase there to close to probably between, I would say, 18 to 20 billion, if not even higher at that point annually. So there is still a lot of potential here for Iren, I believe. We are still early in this space here. And right now, I'm holding. I haven't sold anything here in the last probably, 6 months. I haven't sold anything. I think last time I sold was I sold them and a little bit of Cleanspark as well to buy Cipher shares. That actually worked out pretty good for me there as well. Iren obviously has been killing it more so than a little bit more so than Cipher has, and even a lot more than Cleanspark has. But still, I'm happy with the portfolio that I do have now, which obviously includes Iren, Cipher, Cleanspark, and Bitfarms there. Happy with that. And like I said, I don't plan on selling anything yet or anytime soon, actually. We'll see what the conference call is like tomorrow. I'm going to definitely try listening to that. And we'll see what they say, right? We'll see what kind of good news that they come out with. And hopefully they have some good news for us, because I think that will definitely help the stock go up even further. At this point, we're obviously seeing that run up here today before the earnings. So if we get great earnings tomorrow, tomorrow might be a little bit flat, right? Because we don't really know unless it continues to run. Then there might be definitely a good news there happening at that point. But if it's flat, we may not know until obviously after the close here. And then we'll see how it does on Friday. Okay? So that's basically it. That's all I got for you guys here. Like I said, not much news stories going on here with the miners. So a little bit of a pause in the action here. We've obviously seen a lot of quarterly results being announced, production updates as well. And we're just going to continue to cover this as it happens here. So that's it. Let's get into Q&A here, and we'll call it a day. So today's going to be short and sweet here. On that one, well, depending how long the Q&A goes, we could be going an hour on the Q&As itself. All right, let's get into it here. Let's not waste any more time. You guys obviously are very kind to come in here so late at night. I don't want to waste your guys' time any more than I have to. So let's get into Q&A here. Let's see what we got. As always, if you could preface the question with a question mark or a Q, I would appreciate it here. And we'll start with Mr. X here. Iren had a great day today. Yes, they did. Had a great time. Sour is saying Matt needs to start talking. Damn it, Dan Roberts does like 4 interviews. I replied to Sour there. Dan's company, Iren, has obviously done fantastically well with price appreciation and everything else. Then, all these networks start asking him to come on for interviews, right? Because it's a hot stock. Same thing will happen with others as well over time, possibly with Cleanspark as well. I just say you got to be patient with Cleanspark there a little bit longer. See, even Dan says, stay focused, my friend. Yeah, Sour says, or Dan says, Sour Melon. Remember the plan Cleanspark to 25. I think it can go actually up much higher than that. Rob says, Iren will go to 300. It's definitely doable, probably within the next, I would say, year, if not even faster than that. Depending what kind of news we get, right? How fast do they build out their own GPUs as well for their own use there for their customers and things like that? I mean, yeah, it's definitely possible. It's not out of the realm of not reality, right? It's based on reality. It's based on reality. I think it could happen. All right, Journey K, Cipher and Iren about to go crazy tomorrow. I hope they do for all of us. DeFi NVIDIA partnership for Iren tomorrow. That is a possibility there. That's right. One of the speculations there as well. Jordan says almost positive. Okay. DeFi, what's the latest news on Cleanspark? The latest news is they were at NVIDIA's headquarters, looks like. What were they talking about? Don't know. Would love to be a fly on the wall there. That's for sure. Or maybe like a nano fly on the wall that has microphones and cameras in there. That'd be kind of interesting. That'd be one way to do some espionage on these companies. Jordan K happened already. It's here. D. Royce, Iren Cipher, what a day. Yeah, today was a great day. We had a nice bounce. See, Sarah says that rumor is NVIDIA is a 7% partner in Iren now. Okay, that would be definitely interesting. 7% of 20 billion. What is that going to be? That's going to be, well, it's 1.4 billion, right? My math is right. That's a sizable investment there. All right, Mr. X, how much of CleanSpark shares are owned by corporations? Is it average as compared to other top miners like Iren, Riot, and Mara? As far as institution owned, it's up there. It's like 70-some%. I did it yesterday. Let's take a look at CleanSpark here really quick on it, and I'll show you guys that information. Let's see, browser. Browser we're on go. Institutions is at 71.86%. So it's similar. Let's see. Iren is, last I have for them was on 9.8. That was 69, so they are pretty close. Iren could be higher now. I may have to update them as well. I usually update this when I do the production updates for the miners. Each one that gets a production update, I update this as well, but I probably should do it for Iren as nonetheless. So maybe I'll do that for tomorrow's show. We'll see how that has obviously changed for them, the price targets and everything else. So I'll do that for tomorrow. All right. What else we got here? Victor, let's see. I got CleanSpark 1750 and Bitfarms at 399. Are these prices considered to be okay? Thanks. Going forward, yes. I think they're going to go up much higher from where they are. It's not going to be a straight shot up, but it's going to be a bumpy ride up unless they can provide with some good news, right? Whether it's a deal with somebody, going at the data center business themselves, becoming a neo cloud, whatever it might be, those things will go up eventually. Because Bitfarms and CleanSpark do have quite a bit of megawatts there as well. Okay. All right. Getsum says Iren 80.19 on Hood. Okay, so that one's, yeah, so I saw $80 somewhere already for it. Paul, hopefully Iren dips after earnings so I can buy more before it goes up again. Don't know, right? Depending on the news. If the news is good, it's going to continue to rocket up here. See, Jordan K, wasn't Barber Lake already funded for Bitcoin mining, but not for anything else, I think. All right. Victor C, could CleanSpark be buying chips for the cloud? They could be, right? We don't know. Speculation right now, right? Why are they meeting at NVIDIA's headquarters? They got Tyler Monick there as well. They got Gary V, the other gentleman there as well. Matt Schultz, obviously. And the other one, I'm drawing a blank on the name right now. I'm not great with names. But I have it in the back of my mind. I know who he is. He was part of the deal from Grid, I believe. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Okay. But you guys know who he is. So yeah, we don't know. We'll find out. Ryan says CleanSpark to 18 tomorrow. That would be great. Paul, Iren from the land down under. Yep. Victor, question. CleanSpark need to catch up to Cipher. Cipher has more megawatts in the pipeline and in development as well than what CleanSpark has right now. CleanSpark's getting into that space more so now, right? They got a site in Texas. And they do have, obviously, now, they're in 5 states. They now have, 33 locations as far as data center locations. Some of those other data centers could be potentially used for HPCI as well. They're going to be obviously smaller size, not the 200, 300 megawatts, but maybe 50, 70 to 100 megawatts or something like that. So they're working towards it. All right. Let's see. Nawar asks, you guys think it's a good idea to buy options for Iren? I don't do options. So obviously all the great people in the comments here can answer to that question because they definitely specialize more so in the options side of things than I do. So maybe one of those people will be able to answer that for you. Truth, assuming there is a down year now that many of them are HPC plays, is your plan to sell the miners or does the HPC change things. It changes things, right? We're seeing obviously the action on the prices of the miners compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going down. The miners are not going down as much, which historically, if they were just pure play Bitcoin miners, they would have been down even more, right? So they would have been down 3x on top of what Bitcoin's been down. So I think that does change things, especially as they start generating more revenue from, HPCI business. Like in Iren's case, next year they'll be generating possibly, well, it looks like they're going to be generating more revenue from HPCI, unless Bitcoin goes on a tear and goes like to 300,000 or something like that. Then at that point, it might be pretty close to being even here. But I don't see that happening next year. I think we might be able to get to maybe 150, 180 this year. And then next year, if things work out for us, we could go to 250, 270, something like that. So that would still help, obviously, the miners there. But HPCI business is going to be much more. Let's see, Dan, can Cleanspark catch up to Iren? LOL. Not anytime soon. But remember, Cleanspark also came in late to the Bitcoin mining side of things, and they caught up with Mara, right? Riot, some of the bigger players in here as well. Iren also did the same thing, more or less. So those two, I would not discount those two from whatever they set their minds to going forward here. All right, HP. Question. Sorry you missed the last couple episodes, so question is a bit outdated. It looked like Hut 8 had solid earnings, but the stock got hit hard. Did I miss something? I haven't looked at the earnings yet, so I don't know. I got to pull that information in. I'm still pulling them back into the spreadsheet that I have for all the other miners. So that's going to be coming up here. We'll take a look at that probably. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to it by the end of this week. Maybe we'll do it on Sunday or something like that. We'll have a little time over the weekend to pop that information in. So I'm not sure if there's anything that we missed. I think it's had a nice run up here recently, right, and a lot of potential. But maybe I'd have to listen to the conference call as well, see what they had to say on that as far as when do they plan on, building it out and getting customers there. Victor C, could Bit also do Neo Cloud? Bit Digital? Bit Digital, that would be obviously on their white fiber there. They could if they wanted to. I mean, they do have some data center sites there. Or you're talking about Bitfarms, Neo Cloud. It doesn't sound like they're interested in that. Kind of similar to Core. Core is kind of hinting more towards co-location, things like that, than going Neo Cloud route. At least right now. Things can change, obviously. All right. CJ says, Riot and Mara are really stuck in the mud. Is it just a waiting game for advancements? For Mara, we obviously talked about their quarterly results yesterday. One of the things that I saw that I had a question on was the restructuring that they had like $20 some odd million in that. I think that was for their two-phase immersion cooling technology. I saw something being spoken about that. Correct me if I'm wrong there. And as far as Riot, I think Riot is maybe a little bit ahead of Mara when it comes to HPCI. But Mara is obviously working hard to get there. But Mara is also being coy on the information or timelines and things like that. If they provided some information on that, I think the stock would do better also. But they're being coy on the information, which isn't good, right? It doesn't give investors confidence of where they're heading. So maybe they can change that up a little bit and provide some guidance. Victor, can Cleanspark convert the mining sites for HPCI? Some sites, yes. Not all sites, I don't think. We don't know which ones yet. The new hire that they got in there, that's going to be building out the data centers, is obviously going to be probably checking out all of the sites there and looking them over, seeing what's available as far as fiber, right, space, and then being able to put in redundancies and things, build them out. They're going to look at that, and maybe eventually we'll get some details on it. Maybe when they do their end of year fiscal year results, probably later on this month here, during the conference call, we may get some information there on that. I'm sure somebody's going to ask him on that. What is the target price for Cipher? Cipher obviously is getting bumped up by analysts, and I myself haven't actually yet. Here's my price targets for them, at least right now. Going back here, 24.65, which are pretty close to that right now as it is to 36.97. The analysts have about $42 for the high side of things. Seen a bunch of them around $30, $32, $35, I think, as well. So that's kind of what we're looking at it right now based on just their HPC AI annual run rate right now. And if they get more customers, that's obviously going to bump up as well over time and increase that price target for them as well. All right, going back here. Okay, Gary, Cleanspark may be good investment in 2027 when they look to build Arizona site. They got a Texas site, that Arizona site. And do you know something we don't know? Gary, as far as Arizona site, are they looking to get an Arizona site as well? At least I don't think they have an Arizona site. Do they? I'm going off memory here. Let me see here. Cleanspark. Let me see. I don't see anything for Arizona for them right now as it is. So, not sure where you're getting that information. I think you're maybe talking about Texas there. All right. Back here. All right. Mortip says, Seb, there are only a few people who, 1, got it right on the best miners, 2, didn't give up, and 3, helped others make it through. So thanks, because you are one of those few for sure. Oh, I appreciate that. It wasn't easy. I got to tell you, it really wasn't easy, right? The thing that helped me out was doing the research into these guys here constantly, looking to see where they're going, listening to their conference calls, interviews, things like that, just to see what's going on with them, right? We saw obviously great growth potential in Cleanspark, in Iren, and Cipher as well, Bitfarms to a certain extent as well. And those are the ones that I was getting into, right? The ones that were having huge growth. Luckily, that huge growth meant having a lot of megawatts. And those megawatts now are being utilized more so for their HPCI potential. So it wasn't easy. It was tough, but I could see what was going to be going down the road here for us. I was a little hesitant last year. I was a little questionable about as far as ROI, timeframes, profitability on some of these things as well. But as time progressed, we got more and more data on it, and things look definitely much better than what we were thinking there in the beginning. So yeah, it definitely has worked out right now. We still have a lot more to go, right, on these guys. Iren's got around 3 gigawatts. Cipher's got around 3 gigawatts. Cleanspark's now knocking on 1.5 gigawatts, I think it is. And they have also a pipeline of talking about another pipeline of a gigawatt plus. So Cipher, same thing. Bitfarms, right? Riot, all these guys here have a lot. BitDeer have a lot more to grow. And if the demand continues to be what it is right now for HPCI from all of these hyperscalers and customers and enterprise customers, governments even, nation states, everybody, right? Everybody wants to get into AI because that is definitely the future here going forward. We're going to need, obviously, a lot of demand here. I mean, we're also seeing now Google coming out yesterday that they're looking to do AI data centers in space, right? Where they have solar panels and they're just powering those things, similar to what NVIDIA came out just a couple of days ago as well, right? Talking about doing data centers in space, right? Because you just need all that megawatts. And out there, it's absolute zero temperature, I think. So you really don't need cooling. The only thing you need is the computers to be up there, build out a solar farm up there as well. You can do that now with Starship from SpaceX when that goes commercial, basically. So in another year, maybe I would say probably in another year that should go commercial. The way that they are iterating on those things as well. So you have the capability to bring up all this stuff into space, and you can run all your models up there pretty much for free. Once you pay for, obviously, the GPUs, the servers, things like that, along with the solar panels. But after that, it's free operations forever, pretty much, right? So that's kind of an interesting development there as well. But in the meantime, we got to do it down here on Earth, and that's going to require a lot of gigawatts. All right, Victor C, how long can Cleanspark set up for their Neo Cloud? I mean, we've had basically 3 news releases here in the last, what has it been, 2 weeks or so, right? They hired on somebody. They partnered up with Submer, right, to help them build out data centers. They bought a site in Texas as well with 280 some odd megawatts of potential there. So they're doing all the things that you would expect somebody to do that's going into that pretty hard, especially in such a short period of time as well, right? If we had the hire first, and then we had the Submer news down in a couple months, and then, right, that would not appear to me like they were very ambitious in their goals. Seeing what I'm seeing here right now with them, with just these frequent and close by news releases on these things, they are definitely very ambitious in growing that business side of things here. So that's a good sign. As far as when it's going to be, we don't know, right? We're hoping that it's going to be obviously faster than later, but time will tell for us. All right, NG, will Bitfarms go anywhere near to Cleanspark, Cipher, more importantly, like Iren? I'm not going to say no. Iren, I think, they're going to be able to catch up to Iren. unless they buy a heck of a lot more sites with a heck of a lot more megawatts, and go try to be like a neo cloud like Iren, right? So that's going to be really hard to replicate for them. Can they still do very well? Yes. The other part of it is they have a lot of shares outstanding, right? They have about 500 million shares outstanding roughly. So that will have an impact on the stock price as far as how high it can go because there's a lot more shares compared to like Cleanspark, Iren. Cipher's got quite a bit of shares as well, but still not the 500 million shares that Bitfarms has there. So they can still do very well, but maybe not as Iren, obviously, not as maybe like Cipher or Cleanspark, but they can still do very well. All right. NG says, saw the amount of contracts price of Iren in terms of converted calls. It's crazy. Okay, interesting. That's going to be awesome there. Tom, question, are there any of the miners in the New York area? In other words, can Mamdani election mess things up? Excuse me. I think, who was it? Mawson, let me see here. In New York, not really. Based on what I have here on the map, let's go here to the browser. So this is all the data that I have on these guys here, right? I pulled in Cipher. Well, we got quite a few of these guys. Obviously, we got Bitfarms, Iren, Cipher, Cleanspark, BitDeer, CORZ Scientific, Hive, Riot, Hut 8. Oops, something went wrong. Let's see. There we go. Cipher, Cleanspark, CORZ, Hive, Riot, Hut 8, and other facilities we also have in here. Galaxy, Applied Digital, Nibius, Open AI, Meta, XAI, Amazon, Anthropic, and Microsoft, Mount Pleasant as well. We have those in there. I do not see anything here in New York. The only one that we do have here that are close are in, looks like, Toronto, Canada. So I don't think he can do it. Mandani can do anything there, but that is going to be an interesting real-world case example of socialism at work in New York. We'll see how that's going to play out. I don't think it's going to play out very well. If you've ever lived through communism, it's basically what this is, more or less. It never works. You're going to have, lines for bread. You're going to have lines for shoes. Well, it's a different story. I mean, people can still go outside of New York to get things, but that's kind of what communism is. It's not great. It's kind of, why do you have people escaping communism, right? Why do you have people from Cuba going into Miami trying to escape it? You never see anybody from Florida going down trying to get into Cuba, right? So why is that a reason there? It doesn't work. People want to have a better life, and the way to do it is to get into the United States or other countries that are, free for the most part, and you have the ability to do whatever you want to do for the most part, right? When it comes to generating wealth, building wealth, growing your wealth, if you want to work hard, you can actually achieve something there. Okay, that'll be interesting to watch that play out. Okay, talked about that. Gary, which miner who hasn't announced a deal will be the first to announce a deal? I'm guessing Riot, then Bitfarms. What do you think? Riot has been in it longer than Bitfarms, so I would think based on that might be the way it would play out. But Bitfarms is a great site also in Pennsylvania, or a couple sites in Pennsylvania. Those, I don't know. It'll be interesting, right? I hope everybody here gets a deal of some sort, whether it's a small site or a big site, whatever it is. It would definitely help out all these guys here. GNC, hey Seb, 9 innings in the Bitcoin cycle. Where are we right now? In the Bitcoin cycle, for like the 4-year cycle type things, I think, I would say in that regard, we're maybe like the second inning of the cycle here going forward. Historically, the cycle will be ending right now for us if it was a 4-year cycle. I don't think that's the case. I could be wrong on that. I keep saying that, right? I just have a belief that we're going to be going up higher, but just longer. With less volatility in the Bitcoin price, it's going to be more subdued to not having as parabolic increases, but it'll just continue to go up here. We'll see. All right, Gary says, sorry, I meant Texas site. Okay, yeah. Texas site, you're looking to build out possibly, at the very minimum, if you get everything, you're looking at about a year. And if it takes you a little longer, you're looking at about 2 years at that point. All right. Let's see, is Mara going HPCI? How do their assets to do so compared to Iren and Cipher? I saw something about them installing data servers or servers in one of their sites. Was it in Texas? I thought I saw that. So they're definitely going in that direction. Like I said before, we just need to have more details on what are they doing. And they're also, partnering with somebody for natural gas to build out data centers as well in Texas on that. So they're going towards it. It's just we don't have a timeline. We don't know is it going to be in the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. We don't know. All right. Okay. BLM asks, why is Riot and Mara trash? Both of them have had hiccups in the past with Bitcoin mining. And they fumbled some things, right? Riot fumbled the Bitfarms acquisition. They sold their shares there at a loss, probably. Yeah, I mean, and operationally wise, they haven't been the best either. So I think that's partially why. And they just need to prove themselves in the HPCI side of things going forward. All right, Eric says, workshop out if data centers get protected as national security infrastructure, a la MP, Intel, etc. Workshop out if data, well, if they get protected. Now that would be interesting. New floor, re-rate, etc. Yeah, that would be, yeah. Victor C, have a good feeling for Cleanspark. Yeah, I do. Sounds like you do too as well. Eric, same here. We're getting a good feeling. Okay, that's good. Victor, cool. Tilly P, guys, hit the like button. Sebastian does so much for us. I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you so much for coming in here. Going to try to more Cleanspark under 17. Okay. Eric Dunn. Thanks, Dally. There. All right, NG. What is the realistic price target for Bitfarms if everything goes according to plan on their HPCI roadmap? Okay, that'll greatly depend on whether, what is the revenue going to be from it? So that's going to greatly depend on that. I still think they should be somewhere between $5 and $10 right now, as it is, to be fairly valued, just on the megawatts they have right now without any kind of deals. They obviously have a pretty, really good, healthy balance sheet right now, as it is, right? They have about $1 billion in cash and things like that to go fund their HPCI business going forward here. So they have a lot of potential as well. All right. S. Ramani, have you taken any profits in Bitfarms, Iren, or Cleanspark? I have sold around 20-40%. I have not. No. You're saying, okay, 30-40%. No, I have not taken any profits yet. I've been holding on strong, even during the dips here. All right, Mr. X, if Iren is an Australian company, what % of their BTC miner plants and HPC data centers are in America? They have some plants in Canada, but that's a small portion of it. That's, I think, like maybe 200 megawatts, 200 something megawatts total in Canada, and the rest of it is in the United States and Childress, along with obviously what they're building out in Sweetwater 1 and 2, right? So majority of their stuff is in the United States. Okay, question, is Cleanspark the only miner who plants 100% in America? Who has plants in America? Oh, good question there. Cipher, I think Cipher has plants only in the United States as well. Cleanspark, obviously. Who else? I'm trying to think here. Riot. Riot doesn't have anything overseas either. Mara has some JVs in Abu Dhabi, I think it is, and down in Argentina or Paraguay. I can't remember, one of those two. Who else here? Riot, Cleanspark, Cipher, Hut 8. Well, Hut 8 has Canada sites as well. Hive has Canada sites. Bitfarms has Canada sites as well. I think that might be it out of the ones that we track here that I can think of right now off the top of my head. So, yeah. All right. Eric, if so, the government partnerships question matters a lot more. America first, etc. Yeah, I mean, we definitely, I mean, you saw, did you guys see that quote from Jensen, Jensen Howe, I think is how you pronounce it, the CEO of NVIDIA there. He's saying that eventually, eventually China will possibly win the AI race because they have less regulations and they're being backed by the government as well there, which we don't have that in the United States here, right? They also have a much lower cost of electricity. So we obviously need less regulations when it comes to AI, data centers build out, all that stuff, power plant build out, all those things, right? We want to make sure that they're safe, but sometimes you just have ridiculous regulations around some of those things that they need to be trimmed back a little bit, I think. So yeah, we need to definitely make America first there on that side of things. Pipo, how does Galaxy compare as it relates to assets to so HPCI compared to Iren and Cipher? Galaxy has that site Helios, which I think is possibly beyond 1 gigawatt there, possibly. So Cipher and Iren both have more gigawatts available to them right now compared to Galaxy as it is. Right, see here. GNC says DigiPower X has New York mining sites. Oh, you're right. They have one over by Niagara Falls, I think, right? If I'm not mistaken, there's somewhere around there. Yeah, so they do have it there. But that's a smaller one. That's one that we don't cover as much as we used to in the past. RC question, your price targets for Cleanspark and Bitfarms end of year and Q1. Yeah, I don't know where they're going to be at the end of Q1 here. That's tough to tell. Cleanspark, I think, should be somewhere between 25 and 35. Bitfarms, I think, somewhere between $5 and $10 somewhere by the end of the year. That's kind of where I would go with, unless they come out with actually good news for us, a good press release, getting a customer, getting whatever it might be, a co-location deal, or going into HPCI NeoCloud side of the business. All right. S8 says people didn't vote for communism in New York. Perhaps they voted to bring back the American dream, which became very tough to have. Everything got expensive in New York, and people couldn't afford rent. Well, yeah, I can see that partially, right? But it's also based on the government there. You got to... It's government to blame, in my view. You just have too many... well, I'm not getting into politics. Let's see, Eric says they became a different as class to certain degree. Okay. Pravin, what to expect from Iren earnings? Anything which would surprise us? I think earnings should be between somewhere between. I could be wrong on this, but I think earnings will be here. Let me see here. For Iren, I have them right now somewhere between 4 cents and 28 cents for EPS. Last time around, they got, I don't know if this is going to continue on or not. Maybe it does continue on, and I'm not pricing it in here. But last time, they reported here a increase in, where was it at? I saw it. It was down here. They had a huge benefit from something. There it is. It's the unrealized gain loss on financial instruments. So this was actually gain, 147 million on that. That helped them to get 74 cents per EPS there. Without that, I think they're going to be somewhere between the 4 cents I have them, 4 cents and 28 cents is kind of what I'm expecting there. And then I'm hoping that they come out with some good news or good guidance going forward on their progress for their own HPCI business for NeoCloud, getting to possibly 60,000 GPUs. When is that timeline there for it? And maybe we'll get an announcement that NVIDIA is taking a stake in Iren there as well. That would be great news also. So we'll have to wait and see on that side of things. But this is kind of just where I'm looking at them, where they might be EPS-wise. On that, without that, the financial instrument there that they were using. If they're using it again, then we could definitely be up higher because I'm not using that. All right, let's go back here. All right, Tom Harrison, S8, some of the things Mandami actually said are scary, i.e. texting richer white neighborhoods. You're going to have a lot of people leaving. It's going to get even worse for New York if you do that, right? The rich have the means and the capabilities to leave the areas to go for other areas. We've obviously seen an exodus already happening from states like California, New York, Illinois as well. They're going to friendlier states, Texas, Florida, things like that, where, the tech structure is much better to them at that in those places. Okay, Eric says, checked out the DOE, Department of Energy Speed to Power Initiative. We saw that, this was going back a couple months now, right, that they're trying to speed that up. It's happening, so that's good, right? We definitely need that to happen there. And G, how would you play this run up of Bitfarms? I have averaged in at $4 again. Hold on, I would say, not financial advice as always, but I would hold on, dollar cost average into it some more. And, it might be a little while before, I think they'll go back up here with the rest of the miners based on the HPCI business, but it might take a little while. They've had a fantastic run up here, and, it's one good news story away from having this thing run some more. So that was just how I would play it. Mr. X, do you think it's best for all miners to just focus more into AI for the near future? I feel like miners are being penalized being associated with BTC. They're not being really penalized so much anymore than they have been in the past. But I do think focusing on HPCI is good, right? But you also want to focus on a load balancing portion of your business, which the BTC mining could be. Because if you have that and HPCI, if you need to curtail or something like that, you can curtail the Bitcoin mining side of things and still have all your data centers running nice and smoothly there. So it's going to be a balancing act. We'll see how it works out going forward. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Okay, let's see here. Gary says, Dems lost in New York mayor race in 1965, so have won 60 years straight, so no surprise once the communists won Dem nomination, he would win based on past history. Sad for democracy, though. Okay, yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not getting in politics here. NG. So at what price point shall we start averaging out of Bitfarms? That's going to be up to you, right? I'm holding on for much higher prices here. I think eventually we could get to above $10, even higher than that maybe as well. So I'm holding on to it. Bitfarms is a much smaller position for me than the other miners. Iren obviously has become my largest position right now as it is, followed currently still by dollar-wise, it's still Cleanspark there because I'm up so nicely on that one, and then followed by Cipher and then Bitfarms there. So I'm still holding on though. Okay, Tom, the best thing that Trump administration has done is the energy sector and influence to some degree by the author Alex Epstein, the moral case for fossil fuels. Okay. Yeah, the energy side of things, right? I think the laws and the action against Bitcoin as well, that has helped out. And then just the AI side of things as well, right? Having David Sachs there as the AI and crypto czar, I think that was a great move by them. So they're doing quite a few good things. There are some things that I don't like, but like again, you're not gonna love everything from your party that they do, unless you're just blinded and you're a sheeple, right? Which most people are not. Most people are educated. Most people are critical thinkers, and they see that type of thing. So, but that's just my little rant there. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got here. We got one more coming in from NG here. Okay. Fingers crossed. 20 plus for Bitfarms. Yeah, I could. In a year, we could definitely be there. I think, as long as they provide good information, going forward. All right, but that's it. We're gonna call it a day here. We're going on, not too bad, 45 minutes. So we're doing pretty good here. I'm gonna call it a night, everyone. Thank you so much for coming in. As always, greatly appreciate you guys and gals for coming in, hitting the like button and everything else. I love you all. I hope you guys have a great Thursday. We'll find out for Iren what their earnings are gonna be like. Anything else that happens tomorrow as well, we'll get into it all. Right, so be patient out there, and we'll definitely do, I think, still much better from where we are right now here. A couple less things here that we got popping up here. User says, DOE Westinghouse deal, I think construction begins 2030. That's a ways out. We need to do that faster. Mr. X says, socialism is to communism what capitalism is to fascism. They are not the same thing. It's okay to get rich and still want to help the less fortunate. Gentrification can happen even to the wealthy. Yes, it can. Yeah, I mean, there's no right way of doing things. But the thing here is also, with the thing I love about America is you can be coming from the worst neighborhood, in the worst city, in the worst state, whatever it is, and still make something of yourself. If you have the drive, the passion, and the courage to go out there and do something with your life, you can become a millionaire, a multimillionaire, a billionaire even. It's just, you have that freedom where in other places you do not have that unless you know people, unless you bribe somebody, or you go around the system somehow. So that's the beautiful thing about America. You can still come from nothing and become something. It's right. As long as that doesn't change, I think America is going to be continuing to be a beacon of light in the world. But that can never change. If that changes, then it's over for America. All right. Let's see. All right. Last couple of things here. Jumpman, do you personally think Bitfarms will beat earnings? And if so, do you think they'll go up or down afterwards as a result of resulting in your opinion? It's going to be, I think they're going to have still negative EPS unless they really cut out a lot of fat there. So I'm not expecting to have positive EPS on that side of things. Okay. Let's see here. Except for maybe the Bitcoin hodl, how much of a hodl they have, they might have an impact on them. So I'm saying like low negative EPS, not that bad. Aladdin, any thoughts? Target price for Canon and Soluna. Again, I don't track those guys that well, so I don't know on those. Let's see, also Nibius, what's it? Another one that I don't really track that well. So you're asking the ones that I really don't track him. Tom says, you nailed it, Seb. I'm guessing about America, right? You have everything that you need in this country that can make you very wealthy. It's just, do you want to put the work into it, right? And if you're expecting somebody else to do the work for you and you're expecting to get the money there, well, that's on you, unfortunately. All right. All right, let's see. Vic says, don't agree, Seb, that thinking will attract more low-life immigrants. We already have enough of those. A lot of immigrants are, you're only seeing the bad side of the immigration part of things. I'm an immigrant, right? I came here when I was 8 years old from Poland. So that, you would classify me as potentially, welfare. Never been on welfare. There were times in my life where I was young and stupid. I was living on my own. Barely able to squeak by a meal at the end of the day, going hungry for, sometimes, but I never went on welfare. I took responsibility for my own life. I don't expect somebody else to help me out unless I'm disabled. If you're disabled, I'm all for people, for helping those people out. But if you can work, you can do all those things, there's no reason you should be on welfare. That's just my take on it. So, but yeah, we're getting into a rant there and everything else. So, I'm not going to get into it here, but love you all. I hope you guys have a great night. We'll definitely talk about everything that happens tomorrow as well. And I wish you guys a great night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, I'll see you guys then. Bye.